Want to earn a little extra cash in retirement without clocking a 9 to 5? How about getting paid to sleep in luxury hotels or build giant Lego sculptures or even taste test pet food? Yes, you heard me correctly. Those are real gigs, and they're just a few of the quirky side hustles that are making the rounds online. But before you dive into your dream part-time job or your dog's dinner, there are a few important financial details to consider, from how extra income could affect your taxes and Social Security to what it might mean for your Medicare premium. We're breaking it down today. And of course, here to walk us through these details is the host of Next Chapter Living, Stephen Sabo. Stephen is an investment advisor representative with Executive Financial Group. You can learn more at mynextchapterliving.com. That's mynextchapterliving.com, or by calling 724-283-2806. Stephen, so great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great, Alyssa. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's really nice to see you as well.
So $40K you can make eating dog food if you ever decide for a career change. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yes.
There are options.
Yes. Hey, you know what? I'll be thinking about it. I can't say that I have ever been paid to taste dog food. I regrettably have to say this. I probably have tried it more than I would like in my lifetime, but I've never been paid for it. So, you know, I would love to. Yeah. The next time I'd love to get paid for it. So
as a daughter of a veterinarian, I can say without hesitation, I have taste tested the dog food as a kid. So. Also for free. No payment was given.
That's too funny. I've never had really a reason to, so I'm not even sure. Maybe we should cut that part of this out. But
I'm definitely
like,
leaving
you know what?
it
I
in
don't
now.
know that I want to go see this guy, but
it makes you relatable. It's
that's fine.
Right.
I'll take that.
So many retirees are drawn to part-time work because of the flexibility or the extra income. But how do they know if the extra income might actually cost them more in taxes or benefits? How do you weigh that out?
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of factors to that we have to take a look at, because you're right. You can be, potentially you could be hit with a double whammy, just depending on if you are under your full retirement age, and then obviously being taxed on the Social Security benefits as well. But, you know, one of the things that we would do was sit down with somebody and discuss with them and see, one, how old they are. Are you under that full retirement age or not? And then two, you know, what type of income is this part-time work going to create for you? One of the things that we want to take a look at is the earnings limits before your full retirement age. So, which are actually pretty low if you're under full retirement for the entire year. So you can only earn up to $23,400 without it affecting your benefits. And if not, then there's a penalty, right? If you exceed that limit, then $1 is withheld for every $2 earned over that threshold. So if you earn $30,000, right, your benefits could be reduced by up to $3,300.
And that adds up quickly when you start to factor in how much you lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weighing that out, the difference between what you're bringing home, what you think you're going to bring home versus what you're actually bringing home can be huge.
Right. Yeah, it can definitely be huge. And again, that's just the earnings part of it. There's also the taxability part. I don't want to jump ahead here. I'm not sure what else we're going to be getting into. But then, you know, you can also be taxed on your Social Security benefits, either 50% or up to 85%, just depending on how much income you earn. And that doesn't matter what age you are, where before there's the earnings limit, you know, with certain ages before full retirement age and then after full retirement age. But the taxability is at any point in time. So there's something that you have to be careful of there as well.
And we know that Social Security is just part of the equation, because the other side of that is that part-time earnings might impact your Medicare premiums. And we have to factor that in too, because if we're paying more, even if we're making more, it may not make sense, correct?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, and the Medicare premiums, those are something that can be up, they can cost you a whole heck of a lot more. And you know, so that's something that we are definitely, you know, trying to stay aware with whenever we meet with clients, because we want to make sure that, you know, sometimes that extra, like you said, that extra income can really be costly for you. So you might have extra income, but then most of it's going to go right back out the door into a penalty, or in this case with Medicare, a surcharge on your Part B and Part D premiums. So Part B, I believe, is the outpatient services, and I believe Part D is the prescriptions. So, you could potentially be paying a lot more for those just depending on these certain income thresholds.
And does being post or full retirement age change any of that?
For the Medicare, not really, because again, your Medicare is at 65. So where the Social Security, you might, like my father, for instance, he is, I believe he's 67 in 3 months or something like that is full retirement age, where he's eligible for Medicare at 65. So there's not really an age rule with that one as much as there is on Social Security, but you still have to be aware of, the income limits. And I believe right now for a single filer, the lowest, like if you have 106 or 103,000, one of those two in income, you can, once you start reaching that or above, that's whenever you reach those surcharges, and it goes up the higher that your income is. So I believe it's 106 or 103 for a single and around 212 for a married filing jointly.
So we've ruled out that maybe dog food eating might not be the best.
Yes.
But are there certain types of part-time work or income streams that tend to be more tax efficient for retirees?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do. And one of the things is whenever we work with somebody, we want to sit down and plan with them, because some of these things can be avoided just on how you structure your income. And so what that looks like is, we're going to take a look at all your income sources, and IRA, like if you took income from a regular IRA, all of that money is taxable. Whereas if you take money from a Roth IRA and you do it correctly, you're over 59 and a half, you've had your account for at least 5 years, that isn't necessarily counted towards your modified adjusted gross income. That's tax-free income. And so what we want to do is we want to sit down and come up with an income plan for you, because sometimes it's just how you're taking that money, right? So if you're taking taxable money and not really thinking about it, but you have an opportunity to take tax-free income instead that isn't going to affect those things, that we want to make a plan for you to take that money where we can and do it in such a way to keep you under those thresholds so that you don't ever have to pay any of those surcharges, or you don't run into any of those, taxes with any of that. So a lot of the time what we do with somebody is we take a look at all of their accounts and all of their income sources, and we say, how can we structure this in a way that provides you with income? So for example, let's say you needed $100,000 in income. Well, if we could take $50,000 of taxable income and another $50,000 of tax-free income, well, now you're really only paying taxes on the $50,000, but you're receiving $100,000 worth of income. So, Roth IRA withdrawals are just one of the ways. Municipal bond interest can be one of the ways. That gets a little bit more complicated, just depending on the different types of income, with the bonds there. But then you can also do things like qualified charitable distributions, right? You have to take certain things, the RMDs, out of those accounts. So you may have to start taking them, but maybe you can do a charitable distribution, which helps keep lower, and you're still satisfying that RMD if you were going to do, donate to charity anyway. So, and then there's, other types of, sometimes, just more flexible work arrangements. Maybe the company's going to allow you to be part-time and they're going to pay you, I shouldn't say under the table, but they're going to pay you in a way that allows you to keep your income lower so that you aren't going above those thresholds. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can do that, but those are just a few. Roth IRAs, the municipal bonds, you can do the charitable distributions. So there's a few different routes that you can go with that.
Do you feel that any of the bills that were passed as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, as part of the tax cuts there, being able to earn wages as a tip in terms of tips, can that factor into somebody who maybe wants to have a part-time job because they like to get out of the house? They don't want to just be at home. They're looking to stay active. Is that something that could be a feasible option?
Yeah, it certainly can be. That's pretty new legislation. And so it's changing day by day. And,
right.
That's typical of new legislation. Obviously, they like to throw out a bunch of things in there that, get their base voters excited about it. But a lot of the times as they kind of get put into place, you see some changes or caps on certain things. And so we're always taking a look at that and kind of following those things. But that is certainly, there are some things in there, the tax on tips and lowering that. So, certain types of gig work can be more beneficial, right? But it just depends, everything's a little bit different and that's always going to be changing. So it's difficult to say 100% for sure right now, but those are some of the ways that you can.
Everybody's situation is different and unique, which is the reminder that we need to sit down and have a conversation about our unique goals, our unique desires as we're heading into retirement, or if you're already there,
That's
maybe
right.
making adjustments. If you're thinking about part-time work, it's not something that you necessarily want to step into until you know all sides of the story and the risk versus reward aspect of it. So if someone is thinking about it, or they're, maybe contemplating with the idea and they want to sit down, or maybe this conversation sparked something for them, and they're like, oh, maybe I need to talk about it before I go, sign up for a job.
Yeah.
How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, please. Give us a call. You can call us at 724-283-2806. That's our office number. You can email me directly at Steven@Executive Financial Group. You can head to our website for information. You can go to our Facebook page. Hey, pick up your phone or your favorite podcasting instrument, whatever it's going to be, and listen to this. You can get some really good tips out of it. But we certainly encourage, everybody to, before you start doing that, at least have a plan. Sit down with somebody, sit down with me. Specifically, no, but sit down and, come up with a plan, because if you just say, hey, I'm going to just start doing this without really having any sort of understanding or idea of how things are going to affect you, you can kind of find yourself in a position where you're paying more for something that you didn't necessarily have to. And I'll give one quick example on that for the IRMA, for the Medicare things. It's actually based on your 2 years prior income. So if it's for 2025, that is based on your 2023 income. And so that is something that a lot of people will kind of forget about, or not think about, or not even know about whenever they start to do this. And they say, well, I'm not going to earn that much this year, so it shouldn't affect me. Well, we have to go back and look 2 years prior to see how it's going to affect you. So that's something that can really mess you up. So again, make sure that you sit down and that you understand all the rules and that you come up with a plan. I say that time and time again, and I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but really it's important to sit down and understand all the rules and understand how it's going to affect you before you make any of these decisions. Because a lot of the time, once you do it, it's too late and you're stuck with it until you get past it or until you change something. And so, we try and do our best to sit down with clients and say, hey, here's how we can avoid it. And here's, kind of the steps that we're going to take to do that. But you don't know until you sit down with somebody. So pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot me an email, any of those things. I'd love to talk to you about it.
And nothing would be worse than having an unpleasant surprise on the other side of it. Thinking that you're doing something that's going to put you steps ahead, only to find out that you've taken 3 steps backwards.
It's frustrating whenever you get to that point and you think, oh gosh, look at this. I've done all the things. And then all of a sudden you're hit with that tax bill, or you're hit with those higher premiums on something. And you're going, gosh, why did this happen? I thought I had it all wrapped up. So you're absolutely right. There's nothing worse than an unexpected bill.
Right. And it's not just about the paycheck. It's not as cut and dry as we might think.
That's
Taxes,
right.
Social Security, Medicare can all be affected. So it pays to plan ahead. And if you're looking to write the next chapter in your financial story, be sure to visit mynextchapterliving.com. That's mynextchapterliving.com. Or as Steven said, give them a call at 724-283-2806. You can also find them on Facebook and YouTube. Follow for more tips and tools to help you thrive in retirement. We want retirement to be an enjoyable experience whenever possible. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. We've got more great conversations coming your way soon.
Thanks so much, Alyssa. I really appreciate the conversation today.
Thank you. I did as well. Talk soon.
The opinions expressed by Stephen Sabo and guests on this podcast are their own and do not reflect the opinions of this podcast station. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Past performance cannot be used as an indicator to determine future results. Any strategies mentioned may not be suitable for everyone. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for you. Before acting on any information mentioned, please consult with a qualified tax or investment advisor to determine if it is suitable for your specific situation. This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to subject covered. Investment advisory services offered through Virtue Capital Management, LLC, VCM, a registered investment advisor. VCM and Executive Financial Group are independent of each other. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 670429. Any guarantees mentioned are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Stephen Sabo and/or Executive Financial Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.